Am I the a-hole for robbing my wife's affair partner, which has now led to his divorce? I, 32, have been married to my soon-to-be ex-wife, 30, Madison, for 4 years. We are currently in counseling, but it is not going to work. About a year ago, I found out she was having an affair by coming home to their clothes in our living room and sounds coming from our bedroom. I lost it. I was getting my cricket bat out of the front closet when I stopped to think about consequences. I did not want to go to jail. Instead, I took all their clothes and left quietly. I went to a friend's house, but not before throwing all the clothes in a McDonald's garbage can. I turned off my phone and got shit-faced with my buddy. His wife hosed us off in the morning. After I turned my phone back on, I had dozens of calls and texts from Madison. First scared because she got my updated flight information. Then upset that I hadn't called her to let her know I was going to be coming home early. Then freaked out that the house had been broken into. Then crazy because she figured out it was me. They just got more deranged. The guy she was with is 5 inches shorter than me and about 60 pounds lighter. So if he had taken my clothes, it would be obvious. He ended up calling his friend to go get his spare keys from his house. Unfortunately for him, his wife smelled a rat and followed his friend back to my house, where she saw him leaving in oversized clothes. Long story short, she took pictures and she had evidence of his infidelity, which caused their prenup to be canceled, which cost him a lot of money. It is all one big giant shit show. It took a couple of months, but my wife convinced me to try and forgive her. We started going to counseling and we were working our way through it. Until recently. In a counseling session, she said that I was wrong to steal his wallet, phone, and car keys. She said that his divorce is costing him a lot of money, that I should have dealt with it in a more mature manner, and that it was my fault. I have never admitted to taking his stuff. To begin with, I was afraid he might call the cops. Then I didn't want to give her ammunition in case she wanted a divorce. Now I just don't care. I told her that her cheating was the reason her boyfriend is getting divorced, and that I hope his ex takes everything. I am still not living at home. I have my own apartment, and I'm filing for divorce. Now that I know how she feels, it is kind of a slap in the face that she is blaming me for his divorce. Am I the a-hole for returning my husband's birthday gift to pay for the birthday cake? My daughter baked after he refused to pay her. Basically the title. My daughter, 16, has a thing for baking. She bakes cakes, and some, I said some, not all, sweets, and makes money out of it by selling her work to relatives, friends, and supposedly us. My husband's, her stepdad, 45th birthday took place days ago. He asked my daughter to bake him the birthday cake, and she agreed. I told him about paying her, to which he responded with PFFF, pay her. Get out of here. I'm her dad. I insisted, seeing she's a yes person and a people's pleaser, so won't outright demand the money from him. He said he'd pay, but days went by and he didn't pay her a cent. I decided to go ahead and sell the wristwatch I bought him as his birthday cake and pay her for her. He fouled out and went off on me. I told him he had enough time and should have paid her $7 before he received the cake. He said that I was teaching her to treat familial relationship as transactional and rating her to be materialistic. I explained the time, effort, and even money she put towards making the cake, but he lashed out, verbally calling me an asshole for making this move and for enabling my daughter to expect so much from family that she's supposed to help with nothing in return. He's furious and told almost the whole family about how I took back his birthday gift and returned it. I got enough shame from family members to begin to think that I might be an asshole for how I dealt with this. Am I the a-hole? Y'all, my daughter did want and expect to be paid. If she intended for it to be for free, then I would have kept my mouth shut. And also the wristwatch, it inexpensive. I kept the rest of the money after giving my daughter her share. Am I the a-hole for forbidding my sister to meet my child and telling my wife to butt out of the situation? So the judgment is pretty much exactly as the title suggests. I will provide context though. So the first 28 male, I've been married to my wife for 4 years and we have a 2-year-old son together. My older sister Ariel has 2 kids with her husband. She is my only sibling, but we do not speak and haven't since my wedding 4 years ago. My wife knew I had no relationship with my sister or mother whenever we got together, but now it's causing an argument. We were a pretty typical family until my mom cheated my senior year of high school with a coworker. My dad moved out immediately, and I moved with him. This caused the rift between me and my sister. My sister believed since my mom was sorry, and it was a one-time thing as she claimed, which I don't for a second believe, and was trying to reconcile through the church, that me and my dad's refusal to speak with her was somehow wrong. I was 18, and my sister was 20. Long story, but eventually my sister stopped speaking with my dad. I haven't seen my mom since 2016, then we have only spoken once since in 2019. When she tried to invite herself to my wedding, she was not invited, but my sister was out of courtesy. My sister didn't show up and we have not spoken since. My wife knew when she married me that my only family was my dad and my cousins. She said it was okay, and she didn't care. So a few months ago my wife got a call from my sister's husband. I've never met him, and he said that he wanted to start mending the bridge and would like to have me come meet their kids. I said no. Well, then my sister started sending pics of her kids to my wife, and my wife sent pictures back. I told her multiple times I did not like this, and she told me she could send pics to whoever she wants. I said that if she keeps testing my boundaries, she will be a single parent really soon. That she signed up for me as is. My wife is saying it's wrong to deprive my son of his family. I said, I don't even have a relationship with my sister or Bill. So why should my kid? That doesn't make me feel comfortable at all. And I don't even know these people. Also, any pic she sends could easily be forwarded to my mom, and she needed to think about that. She said she doesn't even understand why my mom can't meet her kid. And that comment alone pissed me off because I've explained my family drama for years. And it feels like she just ignored it. I said she really needs to think about who she wants to appease. Because I'm not going to stand for disrespect of my boundaries. My dad totally agrees with me and is telling me I should start setting aside money now for an exit strategy. Because my wife's behavior is exactly how my mom used to act, and I should see the warning signs now. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for not staying home for the night with my daughter, while my wife goes out with friends? Background: my wife rarely goes out with friends 6 times a year, and has never been very social and prefers spending time with me. I am more social, but that has declined as we have focused on our family. We have a 2-year-old daughter, and I spend time with the same 3 friends once a week for games night, sometimes in person, sometimes online. I have another 3 friends that I see only once every 2 months, also for games night. If I go out, my wife will tend to our daughter. I often still help with dinner, bedtime, but sometimes leave earlier than this. Our daughter's bedtime is 7:30 p.m., and she often sleeps through the night without fuss, wakes up fussing maybe 5% of the time. I always offer for my wife sleep in the next day, or something similar in exchange for me going out, so that it's not a one-sided thing. Scenario: my wife made plans to spend an evening this weekend out with friends. She would be out from 6 p.m. until late. After she made those plans, I was invited to my friend's birthday thing with my second friend group. If I went, I would be gone from 5 p.m. until late. Last time I saw them was exactly 1 month ago. I brought this plan up with my wife as I wanted to make arrangements for a family member to take our daughter for the evening. She was irritated by this and argued that I should stay home. I have since spoken with a family member who is happy to take our daughter at 5 p.m. and have her stay the night, and I have communicated this to my wife. I made it clear that this will not affect her plans at all. I will be responsible for drop-off and pickup of our daughter, and will not ask anything of my wife because I understand that it is rare for her to have a night out like this, and so I don't want her to change her plans at all. She still thinks that I should stay home. Her arguments: she says that since she always covers for me, that I should also cover for her. She doesn't want to ask this family member to have our daughter for the night because she thinks we ask too much of them. My arguments: I am covering for her as she does not have to change her plans and doesn't have to do anything for our daughter. This family member loves watching our daughter, and my wife is often quick to agree to leave our daughter there for sleepovers. Plenty of other evenings out of convenience egg. We will be there for dinner and put our daughter to sleep there so we can visit longer. Then we will leave her there for the night, so I don't see why this time it's too much to ask. I feel like she wants me to stay home as a form of punishment for going out more frequently. Punishment feels too strong of a word. I don't think there is any major resentment behind this or anything. I just don't know how else to describe the feeling. So, am I the a-hole here for making plans to go out the same night my wife also already had plans to go out, even though I am covering all arrangements for our daughter for the evening? Edits. Not sure why everyone thinks I'm planning on getting drunk, but I would not be drinking if I went to the birthday. I would also be the on-call parent and would tend to our daughter in case of any emergency. I use the word cover to describe solo parenting, as that is the word my wife used when we spoke. Neither of us are the type of people to call parenting babysitting when it is solo. The punishment I am referring to is about missing out on celebrating with a friend. It is not referring to spending time with my daughter. Just because my wife only goes out 6 times a year does not mean that is her only free time. We have 5 evenings free every week where she can either do her own thing, or we can spend it together. We share the evening on duty time equally. The vast majority, like 90% or more of my time out, is spent after my daughter is asleep. The normal routine is for both of us to do dinner, bath, bed routine, and then for me to leave afterwards. The family member I am referring to is on my wife's side. However, we are very close with them, and it is normal for me to talk to them directly. They feel just as much my family. The family member is also very experienced putting our daughter to bed without us being there. My daughter has her own room at this family member's house, as well as in others. This is because they care for our daughter on the 3 days a week where both my wife and I work, so that we don't have to pay for daycare. We are extremely lucky to have such helpful family. And the reason she has her own room, bed at these places, isn't because we pawn her off there frequently. It is because she naps at these places 3 days a week, and on occasional evenings. Both family members are empty nesters who admittedly love caring for our daughter and other young family members. We try to compensate them, but they often refuse. And they even go so far as to ask to have our daughter over.